to today's members crystal ball. I know a few of you voted that you couldn't make it, so I apologise for that. But the majority vote is that we could make it today, so we're doing one today, but there will be an earlier one as well. There will be an earlier stream. I think a lot of people can't make it due to time zone. So we haven't had the early member stream this month yet. So that's okay. That can be arranged soon. If you are on priority for bone reading, that most likely is going to be tomorrow now. I do apologise for that. But I just had so many orders today that I had to do, and of course, orders and members must be priority, as you guys are supporting me, you know, financially on my journey here. So I do have to prioritize certain things. The bone reading was just for everyone. I still have the priority list. If you're on the priority list, you're still on the priority list. But yes, it will just be likely tomorrow now. I have one more session and one more reading to do after this, and it's almost 8:30 p.m. here, so yes, likely not getting to bone reading today. Unfortunately, I really wanted to do it. If you were on the bone stream, the one before the bone reading, the updates, the bone, it seems like the varnish has gone very well. It seems like the bones are becoming more sturdy with the varnish. So I'm really happy about that. I will just show you. I'll show you one, just a little example. So this one was the most fragile. We had the rabbit skull, and actually when I was varnishing, there were parts here that seemed to be moving a little bit, and now it feels very, very sturdy. So I still think I'm going to do at least one more coat on them, which I haven't done yet, but it already seems more sturdy with the varnish, so I'm very, very happy with that. So yes, new additions to bone reading coming very soon. So if you did miss the last one and you're on the next one, at least you will have more choices, you'll have more options to choose from. So you might get a rabbit skull or a mouse skull or something like that, you know? So going well. So just an update there. Hello Eslila, hello Jasmine, hello Kevin. I hope you're well too. I'm very well. So do you have some questions coming through? So that's great. So it's nice to see a few of you. Eslila, Jasmine, Kevin, John, Jasmine, Miss Venus. Hello. Right, okay. So I think, let's see, it's 8:30, so we'll do at least an hour, but if we do only get to an hour, I'll just have to think about the remote Reiki that I have and when I should start it. We will go over an hour, I don't know quite how much over. But yeah, I'm going to do a lot of member streams this month just in case I have issues in the beginning sorting out my internet when I'm in America. So just wanted to make sure we get as many in this month, just in case. I'm definitely going to sort something out, but I'm worried. I'm worried about everything with that because I've never travelled alone before, and it's going to be very, well, not on a plane. I've done road trips in my car alone. That's a little bit different. But yes, let's get to questions. Actually, I'll go over the cards first because we do have some cards that we haven't used for a while. So, Moon Magic, I don't think maybe we've used those recently. But we have these angel cards back, which I know a lot of you like, and we haven't used them for a while. And we also have goddess cards. It's been so long since we used goddess cards. Very, very long. But we also have unicorn, Akashic, and love as well. But they're obviously quite common ones that we use. But yes, the angel and the goddess I just thought would be nice, because we haven't used them in a while. So Esleela is the first question. May I ask about Lee's current feelings towards me? Okay. So there's positive energy, there's care, there's that kind of connection. Like there's a feeling of connection. There are positive feelings there. It just seems it's like sometimes I say positive but passive. It's like it's in the back of the mind. It's like it's positive, but it's not forefront, which maybe you would like it to be. Kevin says, "Is Sharon?" I'm so sorry. I think I pronounce that different every time I read that. And the people who will assign someone from my team in Java going to like me for it. What is the percentage of the happening currently? Okay. Getting around 65 to 70 on that at the moment. And Jasmine says, I had a dream of the actor Lakeith Stanfield. So sorry. I don't know actors. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm sorry. Um, Stanfield. But I woke up and felt Brandon's energy too. Was this him symbolizing something else? Or Brandon? Okay. Yeah, so I am picking up, like, Brandon's name is really coming through strongly there, so I would say so. I would agree with that. As Leila says, what is Peter thinking about me? It comes through as like contemplation of future plans. So whether that's communicating more or actually meeting more often or something like that. It does seem very, it's not like thinking about the past or thinking about conversations. It is quite forward focused, so that's good. Stina says hello to everybody. Very nice. Jan says, does Dee like horror movies and games and how he feels about them? I love the horror genre, but even Caden didn't like it much. Okay. Yes, I do get into horror genre, like not really strongly, but definitely into it. I feel more strongly on the gaming side, like really into games. I do feel more strongly on that. Kevin says, should I message? I'm just going to say C because I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Should I message C and suggest to put me on the Java team and how will that go? Okay. Yes, I would definitely say yes. Although I don't see 100% percentage with this it then occurring, then uh, definitely confirming that it happens. I still think that this is the energy that you've been getting a lot as well. Is just reaching out, just putting yourself out there, just, going for things, talking to people. So I 100% would say yes with that. I feel like that's been coming through quite often for you. Eslila says, will I have contact with Lee in the next 3 months? Okay. I do get a yes on that one. Miss Venus says, is the current alignment between Venus and Mars affecting my connection with my twin flame? And if so, how? Okay. I would definitely say yes. I am kind of the belief that all celestial bodies affect us in some way, no matter how small or large. I do think we can overcome it sometimes or navigate it properly sometimes. I do believe that. But the main energy that's coming through for you guys specifically in this situation is, I know we had a reading lately and we spoke about that kind of slow energy, like taking things slow, being very slow. And I feel like it's kind of amplifying that slow energy. That's the main thing that's coming through, unfortunately. Jasmine says this was a sacral dream. What did the stream mean? Okay, sacral dream. So the dream was the actor. Okay. So there does seem to be two separate elements. Like the sacral energy part of the dream seems to be kind of like more of a desire dream, but the Brandon energy seems to be more of a. I'm not quite certain. There's some kind of connection going on there. I don't know if it's being influenced by seeing something. Sometimes our dreams, if we're scrolling and we see certain people, they might pop into our dreams. Sometimes that can happen. But there does seem to be some significance to Brandon. It's just not coming through very clearly. But the sacral side does seem to be kind of linked. How I have like worry dreams and desire dreams, it does seem to be a little bit linked to desire. Bear with me one moment. Okay. Jan, is he meant to be my forever person, the one that I will marry? Okay. It's highly likely. On the current timeline that you're on, it is highly likely. Kevin, why do I feel dizzy so much throughout the day lately? I'm not able to focus on work or willing to travel because of fear of falling. Okay. Excuse me. So you do seem to be, there does seem to be a link to stress and either overwhelming or overworking energy. It's one or the other. That does seem to be what's coming through here. But as I always say, with things that are affecting us quite physically, it's not positive signs. A lot of the time, things like dizziness can be um, linked to something spiritual, linked to, sometimes people get very strong like ascension symptoms and things like that. But because it's coming through more like stress and being overwhelmed or overworked, I do feel like maybe if it, persists, you should get that checked. Because like I always say, I always give a disclaimer if it leads on to medical or health, always check that out. But I feel I don't feel anything being super serious with it. I do feel like it will pass. But as I say, if it does persist, you really should just be careful, be safe, get it checked and everything like that. Um, but yeah, you may be thinking about, staying hydrated, of course, and how long either how long you're sleeping for or how good of a sleep you are getting, because there might be a herbal remedy or something that can help you with getting into a better sleep. Sometimes we sleep for long but we don't get into the proper sleep cycle with the REM and everything like that, which is very important. um, just bear with me one moment, guys. I should have went before I started stream, but I'm just going to pop to the loo. It won't be a moment. Sorry about that. Kevin. Oh yeah, sorry, S. Leela. Why is the reason that Lee is pulling away from me? What is the reason? Sorry. There seems to be a lot of focus on other areas of life, and sometimes it's, you get like this interest in other people and things like that. But this feels a lot more like linked to all focus on work. Sometimes people rarely go down the work path, and that distracts them from the love path. But with this one, it feels a little bit like it's more solar plexus energy. So there must be something that's causing stress or anxiety. Of course, the solar plexus can link to actual physical health issues. So hopefully, I mean that's not coming through. That's not coming through. Just solar plexus is coming through. So it can be like either of these kind of things. Um, Hopefully not anything negative physically, but yeah, it's I mean, there's not really much coming through with the third eye, which tends to come through if it was like overthinking or overstress, but we do store worries and anxieties in our solar plexus. So I do feel like it's something along those lines, feeling very stressed about something, and then you're going down the list of priorities that are because something else on the life path is a priority. But not really getting, if it was interest in other people, we get heart and sacral energy. So I don't rarely feel that, but I do feel like you are down in that list of priorities, if that makes sense. Miss Venus says, is the current transit of Venus descending under to the underworld affecting my connection with my twin flame? And if so, how? And how will things be when Venus comes out? Okay, I feel like you're talking about me. Okay. Am I just descending to the underworld? Let me check this. Affecting our connection. How will things be? Okay. I didn't feel too much from that. I do feel like there's a bit of strength around the connection in this respect, in respect to this particular situation. I do feel like there's a bit of strength around the connection. So I would say if there is effects that they're very, very minimal, there's nothing very strongly or specifically coming through with that one. But yeah, it doesn't seem like I'm getting strength and the connection come through, and it's not like a Maggie energy like when I don't get an answer. It just feels like there um isn't much there with that, if that makes sense. Sorry if I sometimes I feel like I explain things quite badly. So if you need me to expand on anything, do feel free to ask. Jasmine says, I think another day I had a dream about Lakeith again. Why did I dream about him again? Okay. So this person said, I think he said actor, because I'm guessing something like there's a message somewhere within something. Have you watched a movie? Yeah, she said actor. Have you watched a movie with this person in lately, or anything along those lines, like movies, series, whatever this person is in? Because I'm guessing like there's a message in something for you. Like there's a message in 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 a movie or in a series or in whatever space this person is in, there's a message coming through for you, like something that's important to you. Um, and I feel like most of the time the messages we receive through movies especially are usually more about the wider society, wider civilization. I feel like usually it's more music that can give us very personalized messages. So that's quite interesting. I'd be interested to know if you've watched something recently with this person in, or if there's something that's come out recently with them in, or something like that, because it does seem like there's a message within something. Miss Venus says, has the twin flame looked up the other exes we've talked about to see what they look like, or has looked into my stuff for indications of them? Okay. Actually get a no on that one. I guess a no on that one. And thank you for the likes. I really appreciate likes on the members' videos because of course, we get a lot less likes. There's a lot less members than subscribers. So do appreciate the likes. If you haven't liked it, please do. Kevin says, why do I always constantly feel afraid, breathing heavily or having high blood pressure constantly? I remember having this problem since I was a child. Yeah, there's definitely a level of anxiety, particularly social anxiety. It could be subconscious. So sometimes we don't feel particularly like we don't. A lot of people are very connected to their anxiety, and when they're feeling it, it's very like they know that this certain situation makes them anxious. But for some people, it can be a bit more subconscious. So we might feel comfortable in the situation, or maybe we don't, but we're not pinpointing it to this is a situation that makes me anxious. This is the thing that makes me anxious, and it can be a little bit more subconscious like that. It does seem like it is linked to anxiety. But again, with anything that's medical health related and things like that, high blood pressure, of course, medical related, just make sure you're um, getting checked regularly and making sure you're okay physically, um, which, you know, love and blessings, I really hope that you are. Miss Venus says Twin Flame is taking me on a date on Saturday and is, um, oh, Sid, I'll just do that first before that goes. They're on a timer, so. So it says, I have a pain in my bottom teeth and gum after a clean and scrape from the dentist. When will this pain go? Can I floss tonight without aggravating it? Okay. So it doesn't seem like it'll be too long lasting. I get 2 days at most coming through, but I would say to leave out the flossing today. I would say that. I feel like just leaving that space for a little bit to kind of heal and, um, recover or strengthen or whatever you might call it. So yes, I would say it was not the pain won't last long, but I definitely would say leave out the flossing for now. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Miss Dina says, Twin Flame. Sorry, yes, it backs to this one. Twin Flame is taking me on a date on Saturday. Great. What is me? And is making dinner reservations and all. What are you thinking for the date? Plan, mood, where / settings. Okay. So I'm feeling it's coming through. It kind of feels like somewhere that's a little bit unique in terms of it could be we can go to kind of I don't know how to call it when they're not a chain, but like there's chains and there's ones that aren't chains, like maybe small businesses or whatever. It feels a little bit more like it's not chain. If we're looking at levels from like super casual to like super fancy, where we are somewhere more mid length. So I do feel like it's going to be very nice and um, romantic, I suppose. But I do feel like there's a little bit of a level of casual energy to it. Not like not casual in the sense of like taking you to McDonald's, but like maybe a relaxed approach. I would say I do get quite like a relaxed kind of energy. Um, yeah, it's interesting because I'm getting two things like this like favorite kind of coming through, but there's also um like never. I feel like it might be a location that he's never been, but maybe his favorite kind of cuisine or your favorite kind of cuisine. So there's something like favorite coming through with. I think it's more linked to cuisine because it does seem like I feel like it's somewhere that he has not been before. So maybe just looked it up and maybe looked at reviews and things like that. That's I feel like that's right. But with the favorite coming through, I'm thinking, is it very? you know, is a favorite restaurant, or is a favorite place to go. I don't think so. I think it's more like choosing a favorite type of cuisine. If you know, I think that's the way to say it. But yeah, yeah, mood. So mood, I would say there's a romantic element, but I would also say, you know, there's there's that relaxed energy. So I don't want to say casual because I feel like that makes it sound like it's not romantic, if that makes sense. But it feels romantic, but relaxed. I don't know if that's making sense to you. Yeah, just kind of seeing as well, like it looks very much like laughing, talking, laughing. So I feel like a kind of vibrant, positive energy between you, which I'm sure there will be. But it's really coming through like the smile, and I think that's his smile is really coming through as well. Jasmine says, I have been feeling a strong draw and desire towards Brandon. What is this all about? Okay. It does seem like it seems a little bit more like a kind of natural, um, normal kind of attraction. Doesn't necessarily seem like there's anything super spiritual going on, if that makes sense. Not to say that you couldn't build upon a spiritual connection or you couldn't connect spiritually, but I'm not getting anything like past life or you know things like that. So I would say maybe it's more of a kind of normal attraction, if that makes sense. Yeah, Miss Venus's holistic go on Saturday. So maybe I was getting the answer for that at the same time, because seeing that smile, because it did seem like very positive and happy. Like it seemed like talking, laughing, you know, um, yeah, talking and laughing really came through on the smile. So I hope that's you know that's the whole way through. It's not like it starts off like that and then something happens, which I'm not picking up. But yeah, I do feel like um, I do feel positive energy. It does feel nice. Um, I do feel like maybe there might be a little bit more of a, you know, we did speak about the kind of kissing kind of situation. I feel like there might be a little bit more of an effort there, or maybe it would just be verbal suggestion, not necessarily, you know, making the attempt. But yeah, I feel like maybe there'll be something along those lines as well. It's in his mind anyway. Um, I feel like it will come through. Um, uh, Jan says, is what I'm doing currently forward momentum, or do my guides think I need to be doing something else to move forward to bring into alignment this connection with D? Okay. Yeah, at the moment, so I feel like we've had this guidance before, so it might just be that you're still in this chapter, because the guidance that really comes through is it's just really about self-care, like really look after yourself, put yourself first in you know situations where you need to, you know, if you doesn't if something doesn't feel right, say no to it. You know, if you're I don't know stressing yourself out or doing too much or whatever it might be, or not sleeping well, anything like that, really make sure you're trying to you know amend those things that are wrong for you, for your mind, body, and spirit. It's very you focused. So it doesn't mean to not socializing. It's not about like the hermit or anything like that. It's not about it's not about it's not too much about reflection or hermit mode. It's more just about balancing the mind, body, and spirit, and making sure you're in good spirits and good energies. So yeah, that makes sense. It's not about taking yourself away from the world, but it's just about focus on you mostly. Um, Kevin says, why is Tanya sending me best friend and hangout related reels but not reaching not reacting and ignoring my reels and text. Okay. So again with this one, I am getting like distraction with other things and people to come through. Like there's other things and people that again, looking at the priority list like we did with I think Leela, it does seem like you're not like super top of the priority list, but it's almost like it wants to say, um, I'm still thinking of you, and I'm not ignoring you, or I'm not, it's almost like trying to let you know that the connection is still there and everything's fine, but I'm not super available right now. That's kind of like the message that comes through. It's like trying to let you know that things are okay. But yeah, I do feel like um if I do feel like this could change if things slow down or there's less distraction and less, these other priorities are kind of gone or moved down themselves. I do feel like it could come back to more interaction, more communication and things like that. But I do feel like that's the main thing. It's like trying to make sure you know that, I'm still here, I'm just not super available. As Lila says, does Lee have a romantic feeling towards Christina? Okay. I'm not always sure how to categorize things because I don't know if I would go as far as to say romantic, but I do feel like there's some level of attraction. It's quite small, but it's something coming through that's attraction wise. Miss Dina says, how does Twin Flame feel about going on a date with me on Saturday? Okay. I feel like mostly it's happy and excited. Like I feel like there's a lot of positive energy. I don't really get anything like nervousness or doubting or anything like that. It seems just mostly like being looking forward. Maybe you'd say looking forward to it. Jasmine says, has Brandon been thinking about me, and if so, what? Okay. It seems almost like there's been a flashback to some interaction, a flashback to, I would say, most likely the most recent. I just said it and I forgot the word for it. Not reaction, interaction. The most recent interaction. It does feel like there's something there, like just definitely thinking about something. Um, yeah, I would say the most recent interaction. I would definitely say this thinking about you in some way, and it is in a positive light. But yeah, exactly what it is. There's definitely like a visual image of you in the mind as well, and there's positive energy around that. Jan says, I'm curious about this since I know you always thought 2 kids with me and Caden. Well, how many kids would I have with D? Is it also 2? Okay. Yeah, I am still getting 2. I am still getting 2. Kevin says, is Tanya just sending me reels for the sake of it, or just because someone sent her the reels, so she sent me too? I think we went over that. Mystina says, are there some areas where the twin flame thinks we are not compatible? If so, what are they? Okay. Yeah, I would say there's something coming through like along the lines of like interests. Like I don't know if it's you're not super interested in something he's into, or he's not super interested in something you're into. But you know, in a relationship, I think that's good. And I think you just have to um, try to make try to take some level of interest, or at least ask about it. You know. Um, but I don't really feel like on a relationship level, like I don't feel like you know anything like sacral incompatibility or anything like that, or like life goal, life desires incompatibility. I don't feel like anything very large like that. I feel almost like the life goals and the kind of life desires for the future could work together, could resonate. So yeah, I don't feel anything big, like you know, like seriously questionable towards the relationship, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Jasmine says, yesterday I was coming out of the apartment and getting ready to take my brother to work. The guy who helped me place my jumper cable in the right spot was taking out the trash. He was staring at my brother. What thoughts were going through his head? It seems to be a kind of nosy curiosity of, you know, like who is that? What's she up to? Kind of thing. It does seem to be a little bit of like a nosy curiosity. I feel like it's very common with neighbours peeking through the curtains. Not saying that he does that, but Jan says, is it looking like D would move over here to Texas? Or is it more likely that I will move to whichever state he resides in? Okay. It feels more like you would move. That's how it feels. Kevin says, if I am selected for the Java team, will I be asked to go or move to any office location outside of Mumbai? If yes, then what time frame? Okay. I would say yes. Like I'm guessing yes. I'm not 100% on time frame. I would likely say within a year is what I would likely say, but I'm not pinpointing a specific like month. Unfortunately, I'm sorry about that. Um, Miss Venus, I was the one that told the twin flame to take things slow. This time, I'm not engaged in sacred stuff yet because it removes clarity for me. I need more clarity to see him and the current situation clearly. Yeah, I I think you were correct with that decision. Of course, I do think that, but I do also get the energy of him wanting to be quite mindful too. So maybe you're resonating on that. I mean, I don't feel like he wants to take things slow sacredly. I don't feel like that, but I do feel like relationship-wise, like not super rushing. I do feel like he wants to be a little bit slow. Not too slow. Asleela says, how do you see the relationship, Patty with Chris, as a long-term relationship? Okay. Yeah, actually see pretty strong potential of this being long-term, pretty strong potential. Miss Venus says, will it from Flame's slight undecided energy subside to give way to full certainty about coming to me? And if so, when? Okay. I definitely feel yes, and so I'm getting the time frame of 3 months, but I feel like it's that the maximum. So it's more like a maximum of 3 months, not a minimum. Like not like it's after 3 months. I feel like it's within that time frame. Jasmine says, "Well, I haven't had sacral connection in over a year, so yes, I'm desiring sacral activities, but why him? You also got a long time ago that he's a sort of family member. Okay, it's interesting that that's not coming through now. Um, that it doesn't. I didn't really get like any kind of spiritual connection, so that's interesting. So yeah, let's double check on that then. But yeah, I know what you mean. Okay. Yeah, it does just seem to be like kind of your own attraction. Like it does feel like you have attraction there. You have some, yeah, like you feel attracted, very naturally. I'm really not getting soul family at the moment, so that's very interesting and maybe something I would suggest checking back on, even maybe later in the stream or on another stream, because it's not very good to get different answers. If the answers are coming through differently, then clearly one of them must be wrong. So maybe a pendulum would be good for that, just to be extra certain. It gives a very clear yes or no. But yeah, I'm not really feeling it, so that's a bit strange. Like it almost feels like there's not really much connection in the spiritual, but there is physical attraction coming through. But yeah, I would like to double check on that because I don't like. Of course, there's always if any reader says they get every single thing right every single time, they are lying. You're always going to make mistakes. You're always going to get some information wrong or slightly wrong or slightly mixed up a little bit in some way. Um, there's always that. Um, but yeah, I feel like double checking and confirming that will be needed. I think we need to do that. Kevin's, excuse me, Kevin sees a goddess card. I'm wearing my throat chakra bracelet. Um, I really love this. I got it recently. Damara, I believe. If anyone knows the correct pronunciation, then I apologize. But it's guiding children. You are good at helping, counselling, and healing children. Use your skills to help children now. So if you do have children in the family, um, or friends, children of friends, or anything like that, um, it may be positive to connect with them. Might even, of course, as always, link to your inner child. That Damara, was it? Damara? Maybe may help more with, it could be more of counselling your own inner child. So when you were talking before about these issues that you've been having since you were a child, maybe that's why you're getting this goddess card linking to children. So yeah, when we get children cards, can be our own children, can be friends and family's children, but can also very likely be the inner child. So I would think about that, since the question you said was about um, as since a child, the issues you had since a child. Jan says, what other possibilities or persons on my path for marriage? Is it just a slim chance with Caden, but a really high chance with D at the moment? Okay. Yeah, so although I do see possibility of kind of more communication with Caden, like that kind of like building up a little bit, and I do still see the possibility of getting back to some normal level of kind of communication. I don't see marriage on the path for you guys right now. So I would definitely say it's much more prominent with D. Definitely much more prominent. Miss Venus is, has Twin Flame been reading or looking into my profile or our connection on the Pattern app? Okay. I'm guessing a no on that. Eslila says, can you see me in the relationship in this year? Okay. Yes, I guess a yes on that. Jasmine says, where did Phil's wife see my picture that caused her to look me up on Instagram? I'm pretty sure it's coming up as it's something like suggest, or like on his phone, it's something like suggested friends or something, something along those lines where you get people that maybe you've looked at or maybe you've, sometimes it's if you've had their phone number at some point and your phone number's linked to the account or email that you've spoken through is linked to the account, these people will come up as, I don't know, on I don't use Instagram, so I don't know if it comes up the same as Facebook, like suggested, but there's something like that, like it's coming up in some way, um, you know, um, quite prominently, like at the top or something. So maybe she's feeling like he's looked at this recently, or feeling a bit worried like that. I do feel that. John says, when will I 100% be better? I still low key have a bit of a cough and congestion. I know. I'm guessing around 4 to 5 days at the moment. Praying for you. I'm so sorry that you're still feeling that way. Kevin says, I did go for checkups for the dizziness. They didn't find anything serious, just that I have high blood pressure, but low hemoglobin levels, and likely it's stress. And, yeah, so yes, exactly what came through. So I'm sorry about that. That's not good, but it's confirmation that we're connecting properly and I'm getting the information right. But I would say, yeah, you do have to think about that, especially with sleep, because sometimes we feel like, because we've had 8 hours sleep, that it's good enough, if that makes sense. But sometimes it can be about the quality of the sleep, if that makes sense. Yeah, I do get about 4 to 5 days, Jan. Miss Venus says she saw that Twin Flame is feeling more connected to me now than before. Why is this, apart from the Twin Flame connection? And what aspects of me or our connection are amplifying his feelings of connection with me? Okay. I feel a little bit like, apart from, like you're saying, apart from the Twin Flame connection and that magnetism energy, I do feel like it's a little bit like, I mean, there is a kind of common phrase, that absence makes the heart grow fonder, but it feels a little bit like there's been, of course, experiences with other women, of course, and it feels like, you know, I think comparison, like, I think we do that sometimes, not really purposefully, but sometimes it can come up in our mind, and I feel a little bit like this kind of, it's almost feeling like, not like I don't want to say like I can't do better because that makes it sound bad, like, oh, she's the best I can do, not like that, but kind of that energy of like, yeah, there's a putting you at the top of the list, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Kevin says, they also said something about my throat might also be affecting some headaches. Can you please check and confirm if it's related in any way? Your throat? Okay. I'll check. I don't get anything on that. So personally, I would not say that that's linked, but of course, I always, again, disclaimer, any medical health related. Maybe there's something a little bit more physical that they're just a little bit more aware of than me. So always be careful with physical health. But I'm not getting a link with that. Jasmine says, has his wife said anything to him about me, and if so, what did she say? Okay. It feels a little bit more like this was done in private. I don't think there's been communication. I do think there's been communication about interest in other people and, suspecting of cheating or having interest in other people. I feel like there's been communication about that, but not about you specifically. I feel like, yeah, I would say no to that. John says, does D have any red flags I need to look out for? Is there anything that he currently has to work on for this connection with me? Okay. I would say right now in his current relationships, he's working on, how do I say it? Like, being able to be the one to first, be the one to admit wrongdoing, like admit when, you're kind of in the wrong, or you're the one who caused the argument, or, you're, because I think that's a very difficult thing in relationships sometimes, is to be the one to be like, okay, I'm sorry, it was me, I'm so sorry, and it feels like that's a little bit of a lesson at the moment. I wouldn't say it's really bad. um I wouldn't say it's really bad, but I would say it's a bit of a learning curve at the moment. Sfina says, since we are both wanting to take things slow, when do you see Twin Flame kissing again? Also, do you see him asking to stay over this Saturday? Okay. Well, I definitely feel like there's going to be some hinting towards kissing and things like that. I do feel like there's going to be some hinting towards it on this date. But as for, like I said before, physically attempting, I'm not 100% on that. But I definitely feel like there will at least be hinting. But asking to stay, I do get a yes on that. That seems highly likely. It seems highly likely. Love card for Kevin. Okay. So we have reaching your goal. Everything you want from this connection will manifest in the near future. Very nice. Jasmine says, now that she's looking me up, I'm curious, what is his current thoughts about me and when was his last thoughts about me? Okay. His current thoughts about you are very low. He's definitely pushed you out of his mind quite successfully at the moment. So I don't really feel like there's much in the way of recent thoughts. I feel like holding that down is quite prominent at the moment. And so I wouldn't necessarily say recent thoughts, but going back a little bit further, I would say the thinking of reaching out, but then not doing it is kind of the last thing that comes up. But I don't feel like that was super recent. Miss Dina says, is the Twin Flame trying to prove himself to me in terms of the connection with me, and if so, in what ways? Okay. I would say yes, and mainly I would say it's about listening to what you want and trying, not in the way of like trying to mold himself or be a different person, because of course that never works in relationships. You can't pretend to be someone you're not. It'll always end in disaster. But I feel like it's just trying to be more attentive to your needs, listening to what you want, and just, I guess, trying to be a bit more considerate. I would say maybe not changing himself, but just trying to be a bit more considerate. I hope that makes sense. Since I didn't get a notification for this, I had to physically come on YouTube to see the stream. I don't know why that is, because it's members only, so I don't know if it, maybe it has, I don't know, it should still notify members, I think. I don't really know how that goes, but I'm sorry about that. I did put a post up, but I know not everybody sees the post all the time. We're not all on YouTube all the time. Um, but yeah, I put a post up about, maybe it was about 3.5 hours ago now. We've been on for an hour. It really doesn't feel like it's been an hour. And a love card for Jan. Open your eyes, okay? If someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Okay, so opening your eyes. Um, someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. So, of course, that can go positive and negative. If someone's showing you that they're really great and they're really attentive and they're caring, then that, believe that. But also, if someone's showing you that they're, a bit of a loser, like kind of being ignorant or, uncommunicative, let's also just accept that and believe that. Miss Venus says, how did Twin Flame feel after hanging out with me last Friday? And how did he feel about me not asking him to stay? He was joking about me wanting him to stay. How did he feel about me not asking him to stay? Okay. So do you feel really positive energy on the spending time together? Of course. I just don't really pick up anything negative about it. I feel like he's in high spirits about it, and he feels high spirits and hopeful are the main things I would say about it. But in terms of so you say, how did he feel about me not asking him to stay? I feel kind of like I do feel kind of like a level of disappointment, like, but it's more like it would have been nice, not like, oh, I really wish you'd asked me, oh, like, I'm annoyed. It's not like that, but it's more like, oh, it would have been nice if I think we would have had a nice time. It's more like that. So it's, of course he wanted to, but I don't feel like he's taken it badly, if that makes sense. So Kevin says, the couple of nights I tried to do the mind awake body asleep technique for astral travel, how was my attempt? Was I almost there? Okay. I wouldn't say almost there, but I do feel like you're kind of on the right track. Like I do feel like you're. I don't feel like you've got it 100%, but it feels like you're going to. If that makes sense. Like it seems like on this path you are going to. It's not like I need to kind of deviate you and be like, change this and this is wrong. It feels like you're getting there. If that makes sense. But we can always check in on that, because I think when we checked, we got that it would take. Did we get like 3 months or something? It was definitely not a super short time. So that could be something to keep a check on. If you keep up with that practice, we could check back on that. Jasmine says, Lakeith is one of my celebrity crushes. I did recently watch something with it in. It's actually because of Jan. I finally watched that movie with Robert Pattinson in. I had no idea Lakeith was in it. I'm so sorry if I'm saying that wrong. There's a huge. Do you know why it's so long? Ribbon on the back of this, and I think I've undone it. Shouldn't be an issue. It just feels strange. Oh, no, it's fine. I'll ignore it. Yeah, so maybe rewatch that and see if you find any messages in there that seem linked or connected to you, or if there's anything more recent. I think that since that's been suggested to you, maybe it's a bit of a sign. But if there's anything super recent with him in, maybe check that out too. Just try to be kind of mindful, like I don't know if you guys have ever watched a movie looking more for like conspiracy signs and things like that, look at it as a bit more like that, like you're looking for a sign rather than you're just enjoying the movie. Still enjoy it, but Jasmine says, which one did you watch, Jasmine? Was it Die My Love? Oh yeah, just asking Jasmine. Die My Love is the name of the movie. You can pick up in the message. You equated the movie to Randall. Is it a message having to do with Randall? Okay. Yeah, there does seem to be a link with Randall with that, yes. I would definitely say that. Was it a good movie? Did you enjoy it? I'm not a huge Robert Pattinson fan. Well, I'm not a huge any celebrity fan really. I love oh, what's his name? He plays Saul Goodman, you know, in Breaking Bad. Oh, I really wish I could remember his name. I love him. He's great. There's a movie called Undone, I think, and it's like real actors, but it's it's animated effect over them, and he's the father in it. It's a series, and it's really great. Honestly, if you're there is a spiritual element to it. Well, there's a very spiritual element to it. It's really great. What's his name? Oh, it's really bugging me. Can't remember. But I think it's a series, Undone. It's really great. If you like things like that, it's I don't know if anyone's seen A Scanner Darkly. It's very that kind of esque, with the animated element, but the storyline's it's very spiritual. So interesting, interdimensional kind of element to it, and a little bit of like maybe ancestral, like tribal kind of things going on as well. Links to sacred spaces. It's a really great series. I don't know if anyone's seen it. I highly recommend it. Spina says there was a date in the past where he took me to a super fancy place that had the most beautiful lighting, looked like stars. He knows I love that. Is this place on like that? Like, is he thinking about? Oh yes, lighting. So I think I forgot to mention that it did look very kind of like romantic in the sense of like the low lighting, and it feels like a nice dimness but an orange-esque kind of lighting. That's like the image I was getting when I was seeing the smile. Tara, hello, I hope your new year is going well. I'm going to listen in while I work. I'll send an email. Yes! Amazing. Can we email again? That would be great. So it's really lovely to see you. I don't know if you're still listening in, I know. I was very behind in the chat, but it's still lovely to hear from you. And I really hope that your new year is going well as well. And Gray says hello to all. Very, very nice. Hello, I hope you are well. So let me check the time. Okay, so I don't really want to leave yet. It doesn't really even feel like it's been an hour. I do want to carry on for a little bit longer. Sorry, Jasmine says, I haven't seen Brandon in over 14 years. Was he thinking of an in-person interaction or online? Because we cross paths online from time to time. He's on 2 of my social medias. Yeah, so it must be online because it definitely feels more recent than 14 years. So yes, it must be online. Carolyn, hello. Saying hello to everyone as well. Venus, so can we ask directly, will the twin flame initiate a kiss with me last day, and how did he feel about us not kissing last Friday? So with the kiss, I feel like it depends what you would call initiating, because I do feel like he's going to hint at it or maybe suggest it, but it feels like it will be verbal, like not like he'll ask like, can I have your consent for a kiss? I don't feel like that, but I feel like there's this hinting at it in some way, but it doesn't really feel like just physically going in for it, if that makes sense. So I don't know if you'd still consider that initiating. But how does he feel about us not kissing last Friday? I'll check that. Yeah, so again, that feels kind of similar to the staying over question. It's not like a um I don't know how you would describe it, like a sore loser kind of disappointment, like, you know, being annoyed. Like it's not like an annoyed kind of disappointment, but it is a that would have been nice. I kind of would have wanted that kind of energy, you know. So definitely the energy of wanting it. Miss Venus, was it or will be that the final convince will finally convince the twin flame that he wants to be with me for the long term slash commit to me? What is it or what will it be? Okay. It feels like just the build up of the experiences and the communication. It's kind of like, you know, as the more time we spend with people, the more chords we're creating, the more bond we're creating, and already being twin flames makes that a little bit, maybe we would say stronger or something like that. Um, so it does feel kind of like it's just we're rebuilding this bond and it feels right. It's just like, yeah, it's like building up those chords, building up that bond, and it feeling very right to him. So don't feel like it's anything specific, like you do or say anything specific. I just feel like it's a build up of the interactions and a kind of, yeah. I mean, I think that's the best way I can say it. It's like you're building on it, you know. Um, Kevin says, "Who will my new long-term love partner be like in personality and looks wise?" Okay. So I'm seeing like long black hair. I'm seeing, um, I feel like maybe a little bit short, in height, but thin. I'm seeing like kind of biggish eyes and a kind of thin nose. I'm not getting eye color though. But you also said personality. I get a little bit more on the kind of homebody kind of side. Like it feels a little bit more like someone who's like I wouldn't say shy, but I would say like reserved, likes time alone, likes to read. It feels like. Also, I would say, you know, there's definitely a positive social energy, like being good in social situations, but there's a little bit more of a preference of, you know, one-on-one time, or yeah, kind of like being in the home and comfortable and things like that. So not, I'm also not saying that there's, you know, desire to travel could be there. I don't feel like a negative on that, like no desire to travel. I don't feel, you know, so with the like social and travel side, I still feel like it's good. I just feel like the preference is like, you know, being comfortable, being one on one. You know, I kind of get that kind of energy, like, um, yeah, but very well rounded. I would say, like quite smart. You know. Oh, is that another super chat? Sid, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Um, my elder Black Dragon S and Pegasus T vessels are in a charging box. Will this give them full energy or will it stay a bit low? Okay. I'm guessing a yes on full energy. I'm guessing a yes. So that's good. I'm glad about that. They weren't too low initially anyway. Jan says, after the channeling with D on my YouTube feed later on that day, I saw videos titled True Love is Entering Your Life and this person is your end game. Was this just confirmation for me? Okay. I guess a yes on that. I do get a yes on that. Esther says, does Monica miss our friendship? I guess a yes on that. Kevin says, when will I meet and interact with the new long-term love partner? At the moment, it's feeling more towards the end of this year. Towards the end of this year. Jasmine says, was the neighbour trying to figure out if my brother was my boyfriend? Sometimes I worry that guys will see me with him and think that and get discouraged from approaching me. Yes, I do get a yes on that. If you haven't liked the video yet, please do like it. I greatly appreciate that. I'm going to stay in for a little bit longer. So maybe we'll do like 25 minutes longer. So we'll do... Let me just see as we go down. I just want to see if there's anyone who's... Oh no, yeah, it seems to be quite balanced with questions, so that's good. Yeah, so we'll stay on for a little bit longer. Let me see. What was I up to? Oh, I think I've scrolled back up too much. It was one of Jasmine's messages, wasn't it? I can't find it. Oh yeah, there we go. So yeah, just give me one moment. I'm glad the music has come back on. Give me one moment. I just need to grab some tissue. I don't like to blow my nose on stream. But just give me one moment. So, but I will stay on for 25 minutes. So we are going to be 40 minutes over what I said. So I hope that's okay. I hope that's good. But like I said, I am going to focus on more member streams this month, and some early, some late for the different time zones. A lot of people did click no on the poll, but most of you clicked yes. So yes. So yeah, so just bear with me one moment. I won't be a second. So I think it also fixed the music. I think the soil was a little bit dry. Sometimes it works better when they're a bit damp. But yes. It's a little bit temperamental, this one. Not as good as the Monstera, unfortunately. Jasmine, yes, sorry, Miss Venus. You saw the twin flame will be I don't know that word. Inviting. So the twin flame will be inviting me to some social gatherings. What are these gatherings about? Or with family, friends in common? Okay. Yeah, I do see more friends come up at the moment. It's not to say that there won't be family further up down the line, possibly. I don't feel like it's a no to that, but friends is most prominent, especially um, coming up, you know, soonest. Jan says, I got curious and checked to see what Caden's been up to. I noticed he's been spending time with Jay and even his other ex, Alice. Why is this? Is he just hanging out with other girls to realise isn't it? Okay. Yeah, it's definitely it's definitely all linked to that hesitation energy like he pretty much always had. He was either completely stagnant or hesitant, and I feel like um, that hesitation gives doubt. It gives, oh, which path should I take? Which is like, what's right for me? It's very indecisive. There's a very indecisive and hesitant energy with him. Um, I don't remember his star sign, but I'm wondering about it. Yeah, I definitely would say it's just like indecision. Caroline says Christopher kissed me on the mouth last Wednesday. What was he thinking slash feeling? Yeah, I mean the main things that comes through is just like really, really strong attraction. I get really, really strong attraction with that. Jan says, what are Caden's thoughts and feelings regarding me? Any intentions, especially of communicating? Okay. So I do feel like there's one time of thinking about it. Um, recently, but not too recently. Um, yeah, I would say like not 100% on time. Not 100% on time. Maybe we'd say at least a month. Maybe. I'm not 100%. But it doesn't feel like super recent, like within the last week or two. But you were saying, yeah, I don't feel any like desire to communicate now at the moment. I feel like it came up one time, and I don't really feel like there's been much apart besides that. Miss Venus says, how would a committed relationship, boyfriend slash girlfriend, be between Twin Flame and I? Um, how would a committed relationship be? So do you mean like, are you asking like to be long term? Are you asking like what kind of thing are you looking for? Like, um, would it be long term? Would you have a lot of issues? I don't know exactly. If you can clarify a little bit on that. Like, are you just simply meaning like, would it work out long term, or is there something a bit more that you're looking for there? Hopefully, I'll get down to it. Don't think there's too many messages. And Sid says, why did I not have a lucid dream today when my guide told Anne I would? Has Anne bound the gang stalkers yet? Okay. There was a little bit of maybe confusion or interference or something within the message, because you are going to have one. It does seem like it's going to be soon, but as you said, you know, it wasn't today, but it does seem like it will be soon. So it does seem like there's some truth to the message, if that makes sense. But as for the gang stalkers, yes, I did get yes on that. So that's good. That's very good. It's very rare. It's very rare to fully bind them. So it's definitely something that even though we're getting yes, I would still keep a check on. But it is very rare. Like a lot of the time when there's gang stalkers, it can go through the whole lifetime or even um, generational as well. So it's pretty good. It's a pretty good sign. Kevin says, any techniques or methods for me to deal with my stress and overwhelming feeling properly? Like any specific meditation frequencies, yoga or breath work? Yes. I 100% I would say yes, there's definitely specific things that you can do. It's probably something I would like to look a little bit more into, like take a little bit more time with, than I do on this stream. So if you would message me that, just that exact question that you've asked there, if you could Facebook message me that, I would greatly appreciate that, Kevin. Because I would probably send you a little bit more detailed information on that, and maybe some links if I am drawn to a particular frequency meditation or something like that. Yeah, I would like to look into that a little bit more. So please do message that on Facebook. Jancy says, Caden had any recent thoughts of me, and if so, what was it? So just a no on that one. Miss Venus says, what makes me come out on top compared to other women in my twin flame's mind? Or he does have an extensive dating history. Okay. There is comparison in a few ways. I feel like there's a little bit of a physical element, but the main thing that's coming through is like feeling most understood by you, feeling most like you know, understanding on a deeper level, but also it feels a little bit like maybe understanding for the most part. I would say like the humor as well, like um resonating a little bit on the sense of humor kind of comes through, and but it definitely feels like feeling more understood by you, feeling more like you get him, if that makes sense. But there is certainly a physical element as well, like there's physical things that he just finds, he just prefers about you, your kind of your look, you know. So yeah, there's a physical element to it, but there is a deeper element to it. But of course, there's always going to be that twin flame attraction as well. It's kind of the unspoken spiritual attraction that even if there's two non-spiritual people who are twin flames, they still feel it and don't really know why. They're not spiritual. They don't know what twin flames are, but they still feel it and they don't know why. So there's always that as well. Jasmine says, why does Phil still have his profile set to single? Okay. This is just lack of thought about it. This is just it not crossing his mind to change it. So that doesn't seem to really have much relevance. Even if that is even if they're going through like a great time or having issues, it seems like it's something that's not quite crossing his mind recently. He's kind of forgotten about. Jan says, when do you see him messaging and when do you see us having a normal communication again? You're talking about Caden. I would say maybe the middle of next month it's a possibility, but like I said, it's very low prominence. It's very low. Like I can see that there's a slight path to it, but I rarely don't feel like that's the path that either of you are on right now. I do feel like it's a very low path, like a very low possibility. It feels like very low that you will go on that path. Miss Venus says, if I allow Twin Flame to stay over, will he still be tamed and only cuddle with me? Okay. I mean, I'm guessing a little bit of like a cheeky energy come through, so I feel like maybe there could be some um initiating of of something, but I do also feel like there's the respectful element. Like I don't feel like it's you say no and then he keeps trying. I don't get that kind of energy, but I do at least get trying, or suggesting. Like I do feel like I feel like it will come up. I do feel like it will come up, but I still feel a respectful energy. So, that's nice at least. And Twin Flame's most recent thoughts about me, please, okay? It's yeah, so it's future thinking. It's future thinking. It's like, I mean, it could be about this, this planning this date and things like that, thinking of how it will go. But it does feel like thinking of other things, like just thinking of things that you could do. It's very kind of like what might happen, what we could do. Like it's not thinking back to something. It's all kind of like planning or at least thinking about what you could do is what kind of comes through. Chances, was this open your eyes card just confirmation that it was the right thing to release David and not try to message him? Yes, I guess a yes. Jasmine says, can you pinpoint around about time he was thinking of reaching out? Okay. It feels like somewhere between 2 to 3 months ago. That's where I'm kind of feeling the energy. Miss Venus. Twin Flame was thinking of moving to an area of Mexico kind of far from me temporarily. But last time I saw him, he told me he had changed his mind and is moving somewhere else in my area. Did he change his mind because of the potential with me or just in general? Okay. So I do feel like there's a few um, um, comparisons coming up, like um, you know, maybe comparing the places and what would be better for this or what would be better for that. It could be linked to work or could be linked to um, anything, being in their family, being in their friends, something along those lines. There's other elements of comparison, but you are definitely in that. You're definitely in consideration. There's definitely thought of you in that. Yes. John says, oh, I'm curious, does he cosplay or does he have interest in it? Has he been to cons before? Okay. So I feel like yes to attending, but I feel like no to cosplaying himself. I feel like a no to that. Jasmine says, no, I haven't seen Undone, but I will add it to my watch list. Die My Love was good in the sense that of the real raw relationship experience. If you want to see similarity of how Randall and I thought, watch it. Minus them having domestic violence, mine crossed into domestic violence. Oh, okay, yes. Um, Perhaps not my kind of movie. Um, I still can't remember the actor's name. It is really bugging me. So cousin. Oh, bear with me one moment. I'm going to buffer for one moment, but I just so sorry. I'm so sorry. Bob Odenkirk. I don't know how I forgot. So sorry. I'm so sorry. Bob Odenkirk. I don't know how I forgot. He's like one of my favorite actors. I don't know how I forgot that. Bob Odenkirk. Um, great, great actor. I really love him. And also Christian Bale. I think Christian Bale is great. Um, Christina says, but yeah, I highly recommend Undone. Like, it's so good, you know, because it just it's a really interesting story itself, but it really does, you know, this kind of like mediumship element, spiritual element, um, sacred space kind of element, and there's just a lot, a lot. It's really great. I think I'll watch it again. I think I kind of convincing myself to watch it again. Twin Flame, Miss Venus says Twin Flame is wanting to move out by April. Do you see him being able to move to a new, better place? And do you see him involving me in that process? What do you mean by involving you? Like, do you mean like asking you to move in? But I will see wanting to move. Do you see him being able to move to a new, better place? I'll check that. Yeah, I do. I do. I feel like it could be a little bit later than April, but I feel like April's possible. I'm just guessing like April's possible, and then there's a little bit of a higher prominence a little bit later. Um, but moving can always be like it can always be like that, you know. Um, but yeah, so in terms of you saying involving you, do you mean like maybe inviting you to see the place and see if you like it, like, you know, inviting you along, or do you mean like asking you to move in? Like, what is the question there? And do you see Twin Flame changing jobs soon? Something better for him. He, he wants to. If you do, by when do you see new opportunities or the change in jobs? Okay. So I feel like there's a high prominence for an opportunity to be um, available in around March time. So I do feel like there is a possibility of that. But I do feel like it's a case of seeking that opportunity. I don't feel like it's you know, someone suggesting it, or um, yeah, you know what I mean. Like we call it like headhunters. I don't know if you guys call it that. It doesn't feel like that. It feels a little bit like it's more him. He has to seek it, but it will come. Did I miss a super chat? Just let me check. Oh no, I didn't know there was three. I was worried that I missed one. No, I think I'm okay. Um, Esther says, will I be in the relationship with Lee? Okay. Oh yes, we are getting to finish time. So it seems more likely that there'll be someone else who comes in, but I don't. I do think there's possibility with Lee. I do think there's possibility. I just feel like it's a little bit low. I feel like you have a higher possibility with someone else. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to say. Miss Venus says, by the way, I love your outfit today. You look so cute. Thank you. I don't really think the black tights go, but all of my like thermal, like really warm things are black. So when I'm at home, that's always what I wear. But yeah, I actually got this very recently from a charity shop, a thrift store. I don't know what you guys call it. But thank you. I do love these shorts. Shorts are Ralph Lauren. I love Ralph Lauren. But yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very much. I did something a bit different with the. This is like a scarf, a very thin scarf. I thought I would try to look a little bit boho today. Did I pull it off? Hopefully. You're welcome. Um, yeah, inviting. When I read the rest of it, I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, a Scorpio. He's a Scorpio. Interesting. So to clarify, he's hanging out with other girls because he doesn't want the path with and is hesitating with, yeah, just hesitating in general with her, with everything. Yes, yes. Yes, how will we be together? Okay. Yeah, so I do see high potential of long term, and it's interesting because I actually see it more like excuse me, I think I'm gonna sneeze. Oh well, it's gone. I think I'm good. Okay, so yeah, I do see it being long term, but I also feel like there's an element of it's interesting with the twin flame connection because it seems like usually when I look at a twin flame connection, and especially if it's long term, I kind of see like, there's ups and downs, and it's very kind of like, like a wavelength almost. But I feel like you're in a more steady position at the moment together. So I feel like at this path at the moment, if you do take it, and this is the path you go down, actually there's always going to be lessons. Like I always say, there's always going to be lessons. But I do feel like there's uh, more of a smoothness to it. Like the ups and downs are easier to navigate. That they seem a lot smaller. Does that make sense? So it actually seems quite, for a twin flame connection, and what I usually see with twin flame connections, it seems pretty good. Jasmine says one of my other neighbours, Antonio's father, was he was attracted to me. He always looks at me but never speaks. What are his thoughts about me, and will he eventually speak to me? Okay. Yeah, there's definitely attraction, but there's definitely the thoughts that come through very strongly are like, I don't have a chance. It's just like kind of feeling like I don't have a chance. So I would say um I would say it's most likely that he won't approach you. I feel like there is feeling like, yeah, I just thinking straight away that he won't have a chance without even trying. That's the kind of energy I get. Kevin says this was skipped. Oh no! When I'm in the Java team, what performance review was the one I will be reporting to and see have about me. So, I'm sorry if I skipped it, but what performance review would the one I will be reporting to and see have about? So, like, are we looking at, is this going to be like a positive performance review? Let's look. Yeah, so we're getting somewhere between mid and positive. So we are seeing that there could be suggestions for some improvement somewhere, but it's definitely not negative. So it seems like, between mid and positive, I would say. Jan says, how does M feel about all this, seeing him spend less time with her and hanging out with other girls? It feels a little bit like there's a spitefully doing the same thing. So I do feel like she's kind of reaching out to other guys and things like that as well. So I guess you could say like mirroring that energy does kind of come through. Um, Let me just see, because I do have to jump off. I rarely do have to jump off because I still have this session I have to get to. So I'm just going to, well, as always, I'm just going to scroll the chat, and if there's anyone who doesn't ask a lot of questions, I'll answer them, or anything that I think's like quite draws me in, I will just have a look at that. And Super Chat said, thank you very much. Is it true that Anna's joining me in bed all night until I wake up tomorrow? And is it true that my lucid dream will be tomorrow, the 8th, middle of the night and morning? Okay. So I get yes to the first question. I do get yes to that. But in terms of the lucid dream, I, It's possible, but it feels quite low prominence. You know, I feel like it will be within like a week or so, but perhaps not the 8th. Perhaps not the 8th. But I do feel like it could be within a week or so. So that's what I kind of pick up with that. Ha ha ha, cheeky energy. Okay, if I do engage in sacral energy with him now, will that decrease his interest still, or not so much now that we passed the first test? Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say I feel it lessening the interest. Wouldn't necessarily say that. Um, no, I wouldn't. I didn't really feel that. Thank you, Miss Venus. I appreciate the compliments. So Jasmine says, why does Antonio's father think he doesn't have a chance of me? I really feel like it's just thinking, when we have that idea like someone's kind of out of our league, it's just kind of like having that idea. That's exactly what my other friend had told me about the twin flame becoming also a romantic soulmate for this lifetime. Like the potential was there for him to become that. Not that he would ever stop being my twin flame. That's not like a choice we can stop being. No, but if you work out all of your if you work out if you work out all of the lessons within this lifetime, then you will come back together in the how can I call it? The spirit realm, I guess, when you both pass, you'll come back together. So becoming whole again, becoming one. So that's nice. Cities has my £50 voucher. I won arrived at my flat yet. Oh, congratulations. It's always nice to get something a little bit free. But let's see. I guess a no on that one. And yup, exactly, just agreeing with me there. Serge, will any negative entities get into my parents' house this week or next week? No. It's looking highly, highly unlikely. Do you have any of your cleansing things at your parents? Do you have your singing bowl? Just before I go, I think I'll ask that. But yeah, guys, it's been really great. Glad I stayed on for a little bit longer. But yeah, I really do have to get to this session, so look out. So the main thing I would say is look out for polls and posts, because I can schedule these mobile streams as you guys have seen, but the annoying thing for me is that I can't see when I've scheduled them. Like, I can't see them on the homepage. Of course, I put everything in my diary, so it's not too much of an issue. But I do find that a little bit annoying. So what I would say is look at, just try to regularly check into posts and polls, because I will be putting those up for like our next channeling or next definitely going to do it the next member stream will be an early one, but I'll post about it just in case you guys who prefer the later ones can maybe make it. But yes, so let me just see Sid's answer here. My last singing bowl broke, so I'm using one my mother bought me. I have my singing bowl, but I can only use it in my room. Yeah, I would still say use it though. I would still definitely recommend the singing bowl. And any other cleansing, like, I don't know if you have any vervain, or I have this now. I'm really happy that I finally got it, the Florida water. If you have anything like that, or vervain, or tea tree, I would say just for to upkeep the protection, just really making sure, being super safe. Even, I have that protection symbol that I don't know if I've sent it to you, if I've sent it to a lot of people. So you could draw out my protection symbol and put that around, or have something like, you know. Um, where was my other one? I just saw it. I think it's over there. I think I showed you this already. Um, just anything kind of like that. It doesn't have to be huge. I really love the eye. I really I think we've put a great, at least an egregore into it. I do feel like we have a lot of power in that, so um, I would recommend it. Forage water, tea tree especially, vervain especially, they're my number ones. Both of my number ones. Tea tree and vervain together, but you could get an amulet. If you're not allowed to like burn incenses or use a lot of oils and things, vervain's good because it doesn't really have much of a smell as well. So if you can't use tea tree, vervain's great. But yeah, amulets as well, and I can send you them. Anyone, not just Sid, I can send you the protection symbol if you feel like you need it. Um, you have holy water, amazing. Yes, you can use that. Yeah, I don't use the forest water too often, but when I'm called to use it, I do, and it really does. I do really feel it helps. I feel since you guys spoke about it such a long time ago, it was always in my mind to get it, and I saw it a few times and didn't. And then when I was at that event, I know I told you about it. I was like, it's time. Yeah, I need it. I need it. And it definitely was time. And yeah, really, really grateful for that suggestion, being guided towards that. So I appreciate you. Um, yeah, I greatly appreciate you. Um, yeah, because it's nice for me to do the crystal ball or do cards or anything like that, but it's also nice when you guys give me suggestions and um, open my eyes to things. Definitely a community here. There is no you know um, leader or teacher. I feel like we're constantly shifting between student and teacher, and you guys are very often being the teacher to me with a lot of things that you've said and suggestions that you've given me. And so I do greatly appreciate you guys. To mop your apartment, that's a really good idea. That's a really good idea. But yes, so I will have to go. I do have to get to this session. So love, light and blessings to each of you. So like I said, look out for posts and polls. Um, and also, of course, some of you don't get notified. Like I always say, maybe untick and retick the notification bell, because I didn't get to the bone reading today because I was too busy with orders. So I'm going to try to do the bone reading tomorrow. I can't give an exact time on that yet. But if I do have a time in advance, I'll post it. But if I just jump on randomly, I really hope you get notified, especially if you're on the list, especially if you haven't had one yet. So yes, love, light and blessings to each of you. Really, really hope to connect with you soon, ASAP.